All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is a special Lights Out Sports podcast where we do a wrap up of the NFL draft. Well, at least rounds 1, 2, and 3. So, special show, special start time, special music. Yeah, gives you a little bit of that laid back feeling still with that guitar in the background. I like it. I like it. Special music. Special guy in Cheese. Cheese, buddy, I know it has been a busy weekend for you, but how have you been?
Been pretty good. Did you know that Keldrick Falk's a good run defending edge? He can defend the run. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, well, we're going to start out with a did you know already, huh? Like,
did you know? That's all everyone's talking about, how great a run defending edge rusher he is. He's so good at defending the run, Mike. Did you know that?
Now, let me get this straight, though. He's an edge rusher. So
yes, pass rusher.
So he rushes the quarterback, right?
No, he stops the run. He's good at defending the run. Yes, and everyone, that's all they want to talk about is how good a run defender he is. It's amazing.
Oh, man. Sarcasm to get the thing going. I love it. All right, man. Well, I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I know there's a bunch of you already with us. We certainly appreciate it. We are going to kind of put a bow on the NFL draft for tonight. Now, tomorrow during the Lights Out Sports podcast, the regular edition that we always do Tuesday nights, give us the times and the spots there, Cheese, because you know I'll mess it up.
Yeah, this is an hour earlier than we usually go live, so it's at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Today, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, obviously. So tomorrow night, we'll be able to talk a lot of baseball. It's been kind of a crazy April in baseball, especially for teams, named Phillies and Mets. But we'll talk a lot of baseball tomorrow as well.
We will, and we will actually have our first college football segment in quite a long time, because I have some things that I want to talk about that kind of mirror the NFL draft and back and forth to the college game. So we'll do that, and I'll cue a few things as we go through this show as to what we will get to tomorrow. But Cheese, first of all, this show is all NFL draft.
Yes.
So let's start off with this, Cheese. How much of the NFL draft did you watch?
Why do you ask questions you already know the answer to, Mike?
Because maybe not all of our viewers know that you watched every single second of every round all weekend long.
Yes, I covered the draft for my channel, so I watch every single pick. Yes, every single one. Oh my gosh,
I can't believe you just said I cover the draft for my channel and you didn't give us the cheap plug. So go ahead, plug it.
It's Football with Cheese on YouTube, CHEEZ. And on X, it's just Football Cheese without the with. So, yeah, Football with Cheese. What's up, William? A lot of draft content. I'm doing draft recaps right now. I've done 3 divisions. I got 5 to go. So, already recorded a few more I haven't released yet. That's kind of what I'm doing, is I recorded a bunch on Sunday. So, so got all that stuff coming, draft. We're going to talk draft here. And,
So, it's like here a draft, there a draft, everywhere a draft.
Draft is big on the channel. It's big for the NFL. We're going to talk about that here in a second.
So then if you watched every single second of it, Cheese, how much did you enjoy what you watched?
Most of it. I really enjoyed the first round. I think it actually helped that it was such a weak first round because it got a little crazy. There were some surprise picks. When it's a very normal first round, when it's very strong, like 2024, there was one surprise in like the top 20, and that was Michael Penix Jr. of the Falcons. Otherwise, it was boring. Oh, yeah, that pick makes sense. That makes sense. So it wasn't exciting. This one was exciting. And then round 2 was not crazy. And then round 3, there were like 5 to 7 picks that were like, wait, isn't that guy a 6th rounder, maybe undrafted? Like, there was just people just started going crazy. So I really enjoyed it. The only thing that day 3 starts dragging a little bit. You get to like the 6th round and you're like, okay, it's taken forever. When will this thing end? Are we going to get to the Mr. Irrelevant? So, but I enjoy most of it.
Yeah, man, that's for you. You're a draft analyst, right? So you enjoy all this stuff. People like myself who are not a draft analyst and are just saying, you know what, I'll just wait till like Monday and I'll listen to the podcast and I'll do the talking head shows and stuff and they can explain it all to me. Think about all of us I mean, I was trying to watch as much as I could, and I'm trying to be a better football person just because you've made me that way. And I'm trying to up my level to cheese level here, which I'm not even close to yet, but I'm trying. So think about the average fan, though. I mean, I saw where they just put out the numbers. NFL Network across all of the networks where the draft was broadcast on day one, fourth highest in history as far as viewership for the NFL. And then it broke records in Pittsburgh with the number of people who actually came out to the draft, which, by the way, tomorrow, programming notes, we will have a person on our show who was actually at the draft all weekend long.
Fernando Mendoza?
Well, he was not there, as you already know. He was at his house.
Well, that's true. Daniel Jeremiah is going to be on the show, is what you're saying.
Well, okay, let's not go that far. Daniel Jeremiah has no idea who either of us are, sir. But we do have a very good guest. We have Mr. First Down will be on the show tomorrow, and will talk to us about his experiences in Pittsburgh itself, which I can't wait to ask him a bunch of stuff about. So just kind of a prelim before we get into the meat and potatoes of all this. We know how much you watch now. We know how much of it you enjoyed. So are you a fan of building your actual team primarily through the draft?
Yes, primarily through the draft. Not everything you can use free agency, but the draft is how you build your team. Prospects are cheaper. You have them for 4 years. I'm definitely favor trading down and get as many picks as possible, because if you have 7-8 picks, okay, you miss on some, that's going to hurt your team. You have 11 or 12 picks, you miss on some, you're okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially day 3, they're so cheap compared to what people get in free agency. So when you do that, when you build through the draft, you have a young core, especially, then you don't have a lot of needs. And then what you can do is use free agency for a specific need, a specific position. You should not use free agency to build a roster. You should not be signing 15 guys. You should be signing 1 or 2, 3 at most, just to fill out your roster. So when you build through the draft, you also get younger. When you have a younger team, they're typically healthier as well. The 49ers had a real bad year, not this year, but the year before last, because they had 18 guys over 30 years old. Everyone got hurt. So you also have a team that's more likely to stay healthy.
So then that means the way you're describing it, if you're saying, all right, specific needs you get with free agency, that means you must be you choose whoever is highest on your board guy when you're going through the draft rounds?
You try to, for the most part. You can't always do it. Typically, you take the best player on your board no matter what position. That is ideally what you want to do. However, there are some drafts like running backs, the best player on your board in every round. So you can't do that. Most teams carry 3 running backs. So you have to, care with, it's called, you have to care with positional value at the same time. What you should definitely not do is, and we're going to talk about one of these teams in a second, you should not reach for a premium position like a edge rusher, quarterback, tackle, right? And let a better position at a non-premium position go. That's what a lot of teams do that make mistakes, especially in the first round. But you take the best player on the board for the most part, but you have to take positions into account as well. Like, you don't want to draft, if you have 2 running backs that are going to make your roster, you don't want to draft 3 more, because 2 of those guys are going to get cut. So why? You're just wasting your pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we will talk about a couple of those teams who we think have kind of reached, or who have gone over their positional need or value, something like that. So yes, we will get to some of that. Now, John has a comment up here. I want to put his comment up because he sets up myself here. So Cheese, Cheese, would you like I tell you what, I usually give you the option. I'm not, because this sets me up so well. I'm going to go first, at least here in the first round. We might switch it up when we get to rounds 2 and 3. So here's what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, just to kind of put everything out there on the table. We'll lay out all of our cards here, and we'll tell you exactly how this show is going to go. So we're going to go round by round by round for the first 3 rounds. And we're going to do 3 positive picks because, as you know, Cheese and I spoke on the phone last time for the first time, collaborating these notes and stuff. We usually just, email or text back and forth and everything else. But we found that this show was so important, that we had to call each other.
Yes, I agree. So I didn't know you wanted me to say anything. I thought you were going to keep going.
It's okay. We wanted to call each other and make sure that we had this down pat. All right. So we're going to do 3 positive picks because we want to stay positive. Sometimes that's hard for Grumpy over here, but we wanted to stay positive. And then we're going to give you a pick that we are calling a "What are you thinking?" pick.
Yeah,
from
but
each round.
Dr. Phil. It's a Dr. Phil pick. What are you thinking? It's the Dr. Phil thing.
Okay. I don't watch Dr. Phil, but all right, if you say so, sir. So each round, we're going to start with round 1. We're going to go to 2. We're going to go 3. We're going to give you guys 3 positive picks that we really liked. And then we're going to give you a "What were you thinking?" pick. And then at the very end, we'll do a few things here to close everything out. But that's how the show is basically going to go. And John over here says the following: no team builds better than the Dallas Cowboys in the draft. Now, I will have to say here, when was the last time they went to the play? Oh, never mind. We bring that up all the time, right? But I will say this.
In the playoffs a few years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, it's not, but go ahead, because I have some opinions on it. Go ahead.
Okay, all right, fine. But here's my number 1 positive pick in the first round. Pick number 11 to the Dallas Cowboys. And it just so happens to be Caleb Downs. And here's why. I'm the Arizona Cardinal guy, and I'm the Cincinnati Bengals guy. Where Bengals where I used to live, Cardinals where I live now.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted the Cardinals to pick Caleb Downs at number 3. When he didn't get picked number 2, I was like, yes, we're going to get him at 3. And then they got Jeremiah Love. I'm not saying Love's a terrible pick, but I would have much rather have Caleb Downs. I think he is the guy. I know that his position is not valued near enough in this draft, but if you'd have put Caleb Downs and Budda Baker side by side, Cheese and I have kind of said this not only on the show but to each other too. It's like, they just stand there in the grass and say, "Come on, come on, whatever you want to do, we're gonna smash it. We're gonna break up your passes. We're gonna knock down your running backs. Go ahead, whichever one you want to do, we'll take care of it."
Well, no, I mean, like Caleb Downs, they could have traded down and gotten in Arizona. So I think the owner did well. I think he pushed for Jeremiah Love. Caleb Downs is one of the best picks of the draft. Yaku Down is one of the best picks ever. I mean, he's incredible. He and Budda Baker both can do everything. They can do everything on every level. That would have been unbelievable tandem. And you could have one drop deep, one come up. But like you said, the position's being devalued because a lot of teams run too high, run 20, 25 yards downfield. So they're not involved in the play. So sometimes safeties are just stand back there a lot of the game. So they're not involved. So it's been devalued. It's a shame because it's a very important position. But what John said was incorrect. I mean, they're a draft and develop team, but they have Jerry is Mazi Smith, Tyler Guyton. He's not really had a lot of success on day 3 finding starters. Jerry, he's hit on some first round picks. When he takes the best player, don't get too cute. We need a run stopping nose tackle. Take Mazi Smith. Terrible. We have to get a left tackle. Draft Tyler Guyton. When he just sits there and takes the best player, then it works out for them, like CeeDee Lamb, like Michael Parsons. But Caleb Downs would have been on my list, but you took it. So
right. So just so everybody knows, we exchanged. I am not the draft analyst that Cheese is, not even close. So I went through and picked some people, and I didn't want Cheese to go first and then me have to scramble and try to pick people. So I basically said, look, these are the people that I picked. You pick somebody else, man. So that's kind of how we did this.
You picked 3 of the people I would have put in my top 5. You did. So that's fine. I have plenty of other people I can talk about. So I went Sonny Styles, linebacker, Ohio State, to Washington at 7. I did not think he'd fall that far. I thought 5 at worst to the Giants. He is just one of those special players. human beings should not be 6'5", 244, and as fast and athletic as he is. It's not just that, though. He's got incredible instincts. He gets players lined up. He's just, you don't have to worry about your Mike linebacker for the next 10 or 15 years. It's kind of like when the Seahawks took Bobby Wagner, although he was on Washington the last couple of years, but he was there like 12 years in Seattle. Of course, Styles, I mean, he's a better prospect. Reminds me of Brian Urlacher. I just absolutely love that pick. And the rumors Washington had talked to teams, was ready to trade out, but then when he was there, they're like, no thanks.
Right. So now our first two picks are both Buckeyes, and I want to encourage you. You can go back to last week's actual Lights Out Sports podcast that we did on Tuesday. We had Dan on from Bunch of Nuts podcast there at the very end of the show, the last segment, and we went over a lot of Ohio State stuff, not only on Caleb and Sonny, but on all four of those fantastic Ohio State prospects that were taken in the top 11 picks of the draft. So go back and take a look at that show if you have the time. So, Cheese, I want to ask you something that's not on script here, because you mentioned it when you were talking a couple minutes ago. You said that Dallas doesn't always find starters in the third round. So I'm going to ask kind of a tiered question here. So obviously, when you pick in the first round, that guy needs to be your starter. He's a starter for your team day one, yes?
Typically, it depends on the position, but where you want to get your elite players, your playmakers in round one. You don't want to miss on your first round pick. It's devastating when you miss on one, because you got to play them anyways, your first round pick, and then they're a liability. So usually it's your best players, your playmakers.
Okay, so then when you go to rounds 2 and 3, what are you expecting from those players, Cheese?
Starters. You're trying to get your starters. Yeah, maybe you hit on a really good Pro Bowler, maybe, but round 2 you get starters. A lot of times people will take running backs, corners, off-ball linebackers, wide receivers in round 2. More safer picks. But round 2, round 3, sometimes by the middle of round 3, talent drops off a cliff, and they're just But you're trying to get fill out your roster with your starter. Fill out the rest of your starters on your roster.
Yeah, so you're filling out that 53-man roster with the people that you're drafting in rounds 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, the starters. You want to get the guys that are going to play a lot. That's what you want to get. At least, good starters in round 2, solid starters in round 3. That's typically what you want to do.
All right, so you can see the comments. What about the next comment? Do you see it?
Let me pull it up. Yes. Oh, yeah.
You okay with that? Pull that up here?
Yeah, pull it up.
Okay.
So, I get why you're saying that. It's not going to happen. Taylor Green's got 6'6", 220 cannon arm, 4'5", athletic. Ooh, he is so inconsistent, so inaccurate. He's terrible at reading defenses.
Oh wait, this must have been the Arkansas quarterback that they chose in like the next to last round.
I would move him to wide receiver or tight end, maybe tight end, and ask him to bulk up 15, 20 pounds. But you can use him different ways. You can use him on special teams. You can use him jet sweeps. Can he reverses? Will he throw or not? If not, run. So there's things you can do. I think that's why they drafted him. But I think they're going to leave him at quarterback for now.
Okay. And I put this show out there a lot as the show that people can come on. We have the live chat. We'll throw stuff up there, just so everybody knows that's what we're going to try to do in between all of these picks as well. So for me, the second positive pick of round 1 was KC Concepcion, number 24, going to the Cleveland Browns. To be honest, Cheese, and I want to make sure that I tell everybody this is more personal for me. I like this kid. As you probably know, he has a speech impediment problem, but it doesn't stop him from talking to the media. It doesn't stop him from getting in front of the camera, and I just love that about him. He says, yes, I have a speech impediment problem, but I don't care. I'm still going to voice my opinion, and I'm still going to come on here and give you a good interview. So I like the kid himself, and I think he should have a good career and a good fit there in Cleveland, even though, I'm a Bengals guy, and I don't really want him to have a good career and fit in Cleveland. I like the kid. It makes sense for Cleveland, so I had that as my second pick of the positive picks of round 1.
It was needed in Cleveland. They had to get a weapon. And he does a lot of it himself. He is really good after the catch. So whatever quarterbacks throw into him, he's going to make him look better.
We don't know who's that going to be.
He is just so he's so quick. His feet are just he makes these cuts such a good route runner. He's just got unbelievable feet. His feet remind me. I can't believe I'm saying this, but he's a very different receiver. But Devontae Adams, just how quick their feet get going, how quick they win. Now he's not as big. He doesn't have as good a hands as Devontae Adams, and he's faster. They're different receivers, but the feet right at the beginning of the route just reminds me of Adams. He's just got to clean up the drops. That's why he went 24th and not like 14th.
Right. Now, you just did a show earlier today. Well, I think you actually put it out. I think you put it out yesterday, but I reposted it today, of the AFC North teams.
Yes.
And you talked about Concepcion a lot. So for those of you who want more information on Concepcion, go to Cheese's channel. What is it, buddy?
Football with Cheese, Cheez, Cheese with a Z and no E on the end.
All right. So just like it's spelled right there on the circles that you've got right there. And then you can go to that channel and learn some more about KC Concepcion. Cheese, who is your second positive pick in round one?
Kenyon Sadiq, tight end, went to the Jets at 16th overall. I did not think he was going to fall this far. I didn't think he'd get past. I thought the Rams might take him, then I thought the Buccaneers might take him, but the Rams did something ridiculously stupid, and then the Buccaneers, Ruben Bain fell to them. So, like, okay, like a top. I had him 7th on the board. They're like, okay, we'll take him. But Kenyon Sadiq is such a unique talent. He's a tight end that's 6'3", 240, run a 4.39. He's also really tough. He'll make all the contested catches. He's not this slender, just speed guy. He's very tough. He'll catch it over the middle. Got to get better as a route runner. Willing blocker, but has to get stronger. He's not a physical blocker, but you just don't have tight ends that run like this. It's rare. And I think he's on the level prospect of Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren, who had very good rookie years. So I'm just surprised. I had him 8th overall. I'm surprised he fell there. And the Jets are like, okay, yeah, we have to make this pick. I mean, how can we not?
All right. So would you say better or worse than Bowers? And would you say better or worse than McBride?
Oh, he's not on the Bowers. No, he's not on that level. No.
Okay.
Brock Bowers is just, he's not the route runner Brock Bowers is. He doesn't get open, separate like Brock Bowers. Just no. He's a little faster. McBride has exceeded his draft where he went in the draft late 2nd round. I think it was the first tight end taken. It was supposed to be like the worst tight end draft ever, but if you look back, it's actually not bad because some of these guys have really worked out. But so he's a better prospect than McBride. Different. McBride's bigger. He's much more bigger, physical, harder to bring down.
More of a possession type person than.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him. He was more of a George Kittle type. I wouldn't say he's more like a possession because McBride's still pretty athletic, but just different style. But as far as coming out, he's a better prospect.
Okay. I just wanted to get a feel as to what we're going on here with. I've got Caleb Downs, KC Concepcion, my third one. Oh, I can't believe I have to say this because two of these teams are in the same division as my Cincinnati Bengals, and it's just killing me. But and you may have to help me with the name here, buddy. So okay. I should be able to pronounce it.
Okay, go for it. Let's see.
Okay, hold on. Let me look at it.
Jerome Bettis nailed it at the draft. He absolutely nailed it. He got it perfect.
He did. I was so impressed with him. Max Ionescu?
Correct.
Oh, whew, yay me! So, yeah, number 21 taken by the Steelers. Again, I like his story. He did play at ASU, which is where I'm from, so I do like him because of that part too. So there's a little bit of a bias there. I'll admit to it. I would like this better if he just wasn't a Steeler. That's why I made him the third one. And honestly, Cheese, and I want to get your opinion on this too. I see you laughing over there. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be better off with him than they would have been with Lemon. What do you think about that?
Not this year. Not this year, but I do too. I think Lemon, he's just a weird dude.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be one of those divas. I think he's going to want the ball a lot. And in Pittsburgh, you already have Michael Pittman. You already have DK Metcalf. You have Pat Freiermuth. He's just not going to get enough targets. So I think in Philadelphia, he has Devontae Smith. He has Dallas Goedert. Now he's done Tavian Wicks. But he'll get more targets in Philadelphia than he would in Pittsburgh. So I just don't think he was a real good fit there. I get why they wanted to draft him. He's very talented. He's a very good player. But yeah, Ionescu, he's I love him. This would have been on my top 3, but you took him.
Sure, it would have been. You've raved and raved about him since the beginning. Yes,
he is raw. He's got a lot of work to do. He's still learning the position. started playing football in 2021, but I had him 15th overall, number one tackle. I think he's a right tackle at Arizona State. I think he's going to move over left tackle with them. He has the length, athleticism. He's got the character. He's got the work ethic. He's got everything you want. And I just don't understand all these people saying that Monroe Freeling's this amazing guy, should go to top 10. And no one's saying Ian Archer when he has a lot more experience than Freeling. He played a whole nother season. Just didn't make any sense to me. So I think he's not as stiff as Freeling. Freeling can be a little bit stiff. He's not. So I absolutely love this pick. And I think the Steelers will be better off. Maybe not this year, but long term.
But okay, so let me go to Lemon for just a minute. I think they're trading AJ Brown for just a younger version of AJ Brown. I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it. I think he's going to be just like AJ. I think he's going to want the ball all the time, and then when he doesn't, he's going to go to the media and he's going to cry and he's going to put stuff on his Instagram account and he's going to tweet crap, and you're just like, shut up, man. Just catch the ball and shut up.
He should have been long gone. I think it's because of his attitude. I think that's why he fell. I think some teams are like, I don't want to fool with him. Mm-hmm. Like the fact that he went 20, if you had told me that he went 20, like I would have said 2% chance or something. Like I would have taken that bet. He'll fall to 20. Someone said that. I'm like, yeah, he won't. I would have taken it. You know, Jets at 16 passed on him. I know Sadiq was there, but it's just like Rams passed on him. Jets passed on him. Teams that needed receivers. So, I think the Steelers would be better off long term.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know the story, so he was talking to. Let me make sure I get this right. So he was talking to the Steelers on the phone while the Philadelphia Eagles were trading up for him. And if you've seen the footage by any chance, if you haven't, you probably should. It's a good, entertaining minute and a half or so of footage. His agent literally walks over to him and says, hang up with whoever you're talking to. Philadelphia is trying to draft you, man. And he's just like, yeah. So Philly was trading up for him. And from the rumors and stuff like that, this is part of the rumor thing. You really can't tell. But I guess he just literally hangs up on the other team, doesn't say goodbye, doesn't say thank you, he just says, oh, okay, click, and this goes right over to the other team. So,
well, did you hear this rumor? Now, this is not confirmed. It's not Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter reporting it, that the Cowboys got wind that the Steelers were going to take Lemon, because Mike McCarthy used to be with the Cowboys. They have just connections between the two organizations, and so they went and called Philadelphia and said they're about to take him. If you want him, come get him. And then Eagles like, okay, we'll trade. That's a rumor. I don't know if that's true, but if it is, that's crazy. And if that is true, then Steelers need to make sure they don't leak who they're going to take.
Yeah. And this is 100% true too. I can't stand this. And you know, so maybe it's just my profession where I go to work every day. I see, well, never mind. I probably shouldn't say anything. I'll just let that go. Okay. That'll get me in trouble.
But no, it's crazy that, he's talking to the Steelers thinking he's going to be there. Then all of a sudden they trade up one spot ahead of him. So I guess the Steelers knew that Cowboys weren't going receiver. And the Cowboys were on the clock, and they assumed, okay, Cowboys are probably taking.
Well, that's a pretty good assumption, though, isn't it? I mean, they've got, we got
CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, so they knew that. But you still got to make sure they don't trade or pick before you call the guy. They just assumed. So some of it's on the Steelers. You can't assume that someone's not going to trade up in front of you.
And we're going to talk about the Steelers probably tomorrow, because now one of those two wide receivers is saying that if he doesn't get a long-term contract, he wants traded. So we will more than likely dive into that tomorrow. So
maybe they should have drafted Mekhi
Lemon. Maybe. All right, buddy. So I believe we still have your positive pick from the third round, or from the first round to go.
Yeah, this is Dylan Thieneman, safety to the Bears. He's the best true center fielder in this draft. What I mean by that is you can play cover 1 or cover 3. He can play in the middle of the field. He's got incredible range, so you can play single high safety, and that's valuable. Obviously, Caleb Downs fell to 11. Dylan Thieneman was expected to go in the teens. He fell to 25. Some teams just don't draft safeties, whatever. But that's valuable. And the Bears, he's going to make their defense a lot better because they can do that. They have not had a safety like that in probably 4 or 5 years at least that could do that. So that they had to play a lot of too high, a lot of cover 2. So yeah, Dylan Thieneman falling 25. That's a good pick for the Bears.
All right. So here's our first one. The what were you thinking pick. Now, I want to qualify this. I asked Cheese not to talk about Ty Simpson, even though this is a really easy one to jump on board with this wagon, right?
How'd you know who I was going to talk about?
Well, we're going to dive into that deeper tomorrow on the show because I there's some tiers to this, and I want to get to some things with him and the Rams and everything else. So we're going to dive deeper into that tomorrow on the Lights Out Sports podcast. But I'll start us off here. The Giants' selection of Arvell Reese. He said in many interviews that he considered himself an edge rusher.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants chose him anyway. The Giants already have, as you already know, Cheese, and a lot of our fans do too, Abdul Carter, who they drafted 3rd overall last year. Plus, they've got Brian Burns, and they've got, Kayvon Thibodeaux, right? He was the 5th pick. Yeah, he was so I can't get the name right. He was the 5th pick in the 2022 draft. So I know it was tempting to take Arvell Reese, but you didn't need him. Do what the Browns did. Trade back, get more draft capital, and still get a good selection that fills a position of need. The Giants have now said since they drafted him that they plan on using him as a weak side and an inside linebacker. So I want you to answer a couple of things for me here. Do you think that's the right call, playing him at the linebacker position?
No, I don't mind playing him a linebacker as long as he's a hybrid. He's got to rush the passer. I think that's his strength. That's why you draft him that high. That's why I had him as the best player on the board, because I think he can do both. I don't mind using him as a hybrid, but he's got to be primarily a pass rusher. Look, there's been rumors for months that they might shop Thibodeaux. They didn't trade him during the draft. They still could trade him. So that would open up. But, he's the best player on the board. You had to take him, right? You could have taken Sonny Styles. You got to take the best player. Thibodeaux could be traded. You can never have enough edge rushers. I get what you're saying, but you can't pass on a talent like that. But he wants to play edge because they get paid more. It's very simple. All 12 linebackers, the best ones in the league get like 15, 16 million a year. The best edge rushers get 42 million a year. So it's a big difference. That's why he wants to play edge. But trust me, he'll rush the passer some. I don't know. I'm shocked that they haven't already traded Thibodeaux. But if they do, I feel better about it. What's up?
Hello, Ramen.
What's up, Ramen on Wheels?
All right. So, and that's my first one. And when they were doing it, I was like, what are you thinking? I know he's there. I know the temptation's there for him to take him. I know he's a great player. But in my book, you fill needs, especially when you're, okay, so I get it if you're the Seattle Seahawks and you've only got 4 needs on your team or whatever, and, and you can do something like that. You can take a chance with somebody. The Giants weren't in that spot. They need to fill needs and they need to fill roles. And I just didn't think they did that with their 1st overall pick. So that's why I was going, what are you thinking? Cheese?
I think he's the best player on the board. Take the best player.
I get it. I just don't like it. So what were you thinking, Cheese? Give us your pick of what were you thinking?
Well, if you want to, I break down, there's 3 moves I absolutely despise. If you want to go to my channel, I did a recap on Friday of every pick in the 1st round. And I'll just say this. Honorable mention, Caleb Banks to the Vikings was bad at 18. He's not a good run defender. He's got injuries. He's got inconsistent tape. He's got so many red flags. The talent's there. He's very talented. So that's honorable mention. I'll talk more about that on the channel. And then I absolutely despised. You kind of already talked about Caleb. Now I was not going to get into it. The fact that the Dolphins just didn't take him, and they traded back one spot and took Caden Proctor because he's a tackle. I know the Dolphins need everything, but Caden Proctor is not. I had him 25th best player, and Caleb down 2nd. So you got 2 late 5th round picks. One of the dumbest things I've ever seen. When you hire people from the Green Bay Packers front office, you get dumb things. But I have you heard that Keldrick Falk's a good run defender? Have you heard that? He's a good run-stopping edge.
Is he?
Did you not know that? Oh, yeah.
No,
so he's a really good
run-stopping
edge. You traded up in the 1st round for a guy that I had in the 80s. He's only 20 or 21 years old. Yes, he's got talent. He's athletic. And he's 280. But he's not a good fit in Robert Saleh's defense at all. He likes, smaller, quicker edge rushers. Great first step. He doesn't have that. He's got a lot of work to do as an edge rusher. He's just not very good. He was a little better inside, but I don't care if you can learn to stop the run better. If you're a terrible run defender in college, I don't care. David Bailey wasn't a good run defender in college. He went second overall. Like, this is a terrible bet. Keldrick Falk, Titans, the fit, the player. I just, by the way, he's a good run defender, though. So that's good. But I just didn't make it. The Titans draft made no sense to me. I love Colonel Tate, but he was a reach at 4. There were much better defensive players on the board.
Yes, Mr. First Down, would you please not watch this show? Yeah, I don't. Okay.
We'll talk about that tomorrow.
Tune away.
Love Carnell Tate, but my God, Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese are on the board. Caleb Downs is on the board. Oh my gosh, crazy.
We'll talk a little bit more of that with Mr. First Down tomorrow and see what he thinks on the situation. We'll dive in more of that tomorrow as well. But we're going to try to keep this one positive, okay, Cheese? That's why we decided to do 3 positive picks and only 1 negative one. Let's go to round 2.
I had 2 honorable mentions. I had to mention those 3. I had to. But I only have 1 going forward.
Okay. Well, thank God for that. Round 2. Positive picks. Number 1 for me, I've got to put this guy in here. This, to me, was one of the best moments. You know what? I'm going to say it. It was the best moment in the draft for me. I watched it live. I tuned into the very beginning of the second round. Caden McDonald, number 38 to the Houston Texans. First, I wonder how much C.J. Stroud had anything to do with this, or even, maybe he didn't, but I think there might be a little connection there. He had to be disappointed, did Caden. He did not get picked in the first round, which I couldn't believe. I mean, I actually went through the picks because I watched like the first 20 or 22, and then I saw teams kind of reaching for people towards the end, and I'm just like, no, I'm done with this. I'm going to go spend some time with my wife. So that's what I ended up doing. And then I went back and looked, and I'm like, okay, where'd Caden get picked? Caden, I'm looking down through. Are you kidding me? And I had to go down through them again. Are you seriously? Caden McDonald didn't get picked in the first round? And then he had to be disappointed not being picked in the first round. But he waited. He showed up on day 2, which I give him all the credit in the world for. And then, he got his moment. The emotion that he showed, going down the hallway, pounding the emblem on the wall, putting the hat on, with the tears going down his face. He even had a moment with the commissioner. Like, they talked. The commissioner said like multiple sentences to him. So, again, as the tears were streaming down his face. Plus, Cheese, the Texans already had one of the best, maybe the best defensive lines in football. And now they've doubled down and they got Caden. So what do you think of the moment, and what do you think of the pick?
The moment was great. So what they do is they invite people to the draft that they think will be drafted first round. They do not invite you if they think you're going to fall the second round. So the NFL, their intel was he was going to go in the first round. I thought he would too. I thought there was a chance he'd fall because his workout was a little disappointing. But I think Houston probably was under consideration when they picked 28, something like that, when they took Kalen Rutledge. So I think, they're like, okay, no one else wants to take him. We'll take him. The moment was great. He could have left. A lot of people do. I don't know if you know this. Most guys that are invited to the draft that aren't get picked, they go home. They get bitter. Mm-hmm. They leave. And he did. And that shows character, shows class.
Yes.
Shows he's humble. I really, really like that he stayed. And he got to talk with the commissioner a lot because he was the only one left in the green room. So I think it was a great moment. I think it was a really good pick. I think I had him like 32, 33 on my board. So had him right at the end of the first round. And, Texans, their defense is probably the best in the NFL. They could still use another defensive tackle. So, love that move. Definitely.
All right. So what was your positive pick in round 2, the first one?
Ooh, the first one. We'll go number 53 overall. CJ Allen, linebacker, Georgia, went to the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he actually traded down and still got him, they should have taken him at 47, but he's a 3-down linebacker. He's instinctive. He's a great blitzer. He's a team leader. Unlike most Georgia players, he's a good character. He's got very high character.
Unlike most Georgia players.
He's going to have he's the green dot guy. He's going to be the guy with the green dot on his helmet. The only thing I can think of, I was like, how did he fall? I thought he'd go in the first round. I thought there's a good chance. I thought it was a solid chance.
Mm-hmm.
He's 230 pounds. And some guys Weak side linebacker, okay, he could be 225, 230, but middle linebacker, a lot of teams want 240, 245. That because you're going to play a lot of running lanes, a lot of run stops. So that's the only thing I can think of. So he falls to 53, and the Colts, it was their first pick of the draft. They traded for Sauce Gardner, their first rounder. So I love that pick, and I think he's a future Pro Bowler.
Okay, and how smart were the Colts? They didn't have a first round pick, and then they had enough guts to trade down in the second round. What'd you think about that strategy?
Well, he helped the Steelers get Jeremy Bernard, but I was surprised they didn't just take him. I was shocked, actually. And then Minnesota went linebacker at 51, but they didn't win a different linebacker, went Jake Golday, luckily for them. So it was risky, but they still got their guy.
Okay, sometimes that's what it takes, right? Yeah. Do a little bit of risk there.
Yeah.
All right, so Caden McDonald was first for me. Second for me, I'm probably going to sound like a homer here, but I think you would agree with me on this pick as well. This is a positive one from the second round. Cassius Howe, number 41 to the Cincinnati Bengals. He is a younger Trey Hendrickson. That's the best way I know to describe him in a simple sentence. He had the second most sacks in the SEC last year with 11.5. He can get after the quarterback, just like Trey. He has good speed, so he can chase things down from behind, but he's only average against the run. Would you say that describes him pretty well, at least, Cheese?
He's better against the run than I thought. There were people acting like he's terrible against it. He's actually a little better than I thought, but yeah, it's never going to be a strength. He's probably not going to play on early downs, probably designated pass rusher only.
Okay, and like I said, that's Trey Hendrickson. That's what he did. So you let him go. I mean, don't get me wrong, that was a fiasco, and I'm not trying to save them with this pick. But as far as what they got a younger version of Trey Hendrickson, in my opinion.
I loved Cassius. He would have been one of my three if you didn't take him, but that's fine. Like I said, I can talk about all of these guys, but I had him mocked to Tampa Bay before the combine at 15 overall.
Oh, wow.
And then he has the shortest arms, like I think ever, of an edge rusher at the combine. Length is important. Now it's less important for probably speed rushers, but it's still important. And that's why he fell, but he has such a quick get off. He is just he's just really good at rushing the passer. And that's important. It doesn't matter if you don't play early downs. If you can affect the quarterback, you're going to be a good player in the NFL, and he can do that. So I absolutely love that pick. And I don't know if you watched my second round mock that I did on Friday, but I actually had him going to the Bengals, and I had Chase Bisontis going to your Cardinals, who I didn't talk about here, but he would have, didn't quite make this list.
Yeah, but I do. As much as I didn't really like the Love pick, I mean, I understood it, but I didn't really care for it. I think that's I was gonna go there more when we talked about, what do you get in the first round? What are you looking for in the second round? What are you looking for in the third round? I'm just not sure how much he's going to start. I'm not sure how much he's really going to run. I mean, you've got two really good running backs as it is, and you just added him to that backfield. Again, kind of like what I would say with the Giants when I talked about Arvell Reese not being a great fit. I didn't think Jeremiah Love was a great fit. I would have much rather had Caleb Downs, and that's the guy that I wanted. But
Love's going to play. You don't use a third overall pick on a running back. He's going to play. He's going to be majority carry.
Okay,
he's going to be the
guy.
Then
what are you going to do with the other two?
They're going to have to. I'm sure Trey Benson's probably going to be shopped in training camp with a team that has a running back injury. I think Trey Benson's the one to move. It's the easiest one to move. He's a third round pick, so his contract's low. That's what I think. I think they'll shop Trey Benson, and they should call Green Bay because they didn't draft. They need a backup running back. They didn't draft one, and I'll take him.
Okay,
well, he's big and he's fast. He's
big
and he's fast. That's
big and he's fast. All right. So speaking of big and fast, talk to us. What's your second positive pick from the second round, Cheese?
So I trashed Miami in my recap video of the first round for not taking Banks. I just was so, oh my God, I still cannot believe how stupid that was. But they did take Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker from Texas Tech, 43rd overall. Another guy like C.J. Allen thought would go in the first round. He was one of the best players in college football, period, last year. He had like 7 forced fumbles. He had interceptions. He's one of the most distinctual linebackers in the country. He's okay. He's 6'1", 230 with short arms. I don't care. It doesn't really affect him. He can play the run well. He can cover well. He's really good at man coverage, more so than zone. I was shocked how well he did in man coverage. He can blitz. He can do it all. He's just a great player, and he has no business falling to 43. So really good pick there for Miami.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you should get something positive, Miami. I mean, if you listen to Cheese's stuff, he was
will go down as one of the
with the harpoon.
I mean, can you imagine taking an Alabama offensive lineman, they all bust, who's over 350 pounds? They rarely work out, and getting 2 late fifths. That's it, and not taking Caleb Downs. I could just keep talking about it, but anyway.
But it's because you got people from the Green Bay Packers that are in your front office, right? I mean, why not say that for the 5th time?
It's just, I'm so tired of, well, it's not a premium position, so you have to take a worse player, a much worse player. That just doesn't make any sense to me. You take the best player, it's crazy.
Okay, so positive picks. Remember that? Positive.
Yeah, positive. Miami,
picks.
Yay!
Yay, Miami. Anyway, so my third positive pick of the 2nd round, Toledo's Emmanuel McNeil Warren. He's another versatile playmaker at safety, and he slid to 58th overall to the Browns in that 2nd round after being projected as a potential 1st rounder. Cheese, you and I both know teams are doing more of these 2 tight end sets, and one of the ways to counteract that is with a player like Emmanuel McNeil Warren. So 2 questions for you. Did you have him mocked in your 1st round, and do you think that he is that versatile safety that I do?
Yes, he's great in the box, great against tight ends, great against the run. He's talk about turnovers, great ball skills. He's big. He's like 6'3", 210, big safety, but he can play deep too. He's athletic enough. There has to be some medical or character concern. Has to be. But Daniel Jeremiah, the night before the draft, reported he's not going in the 1st round. All teams are telling me the teams that are picking late 1st round are not taking him. So I knew he wasn't, so I didn't mock him in the 1st round, but I had him, I think, the 20th best player on the board. So I agree with you. I think it's an absolute steal. And maybe because he played in the MAC, that's another reason he might have fallen. But Quinyon Mitchell was a 1st round pick 2 years ago by the Eagles, and he's been great. So I don't understand this at all. Great pick by the Browns.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as far as in our college football segment tomorrow. So part of it, we're going to talk about Ty Simpson. We're going to talk about the difference between players in SEC, Big Ten, MAC, and stuff like that. We'll dive into some of these subjects here over the next few weeks. Maybe not everything tomorrow, but we're going to dive into some college football stuff here now that the draft and things are over. But Cheese, I gave you my positive pick, 3rd in the 2nd round. Tell me your 3rd positive pick in the 2nd round before we get to the what were they thinking pick.
What were they thinking? Okay. My computer, my screen. Okay. The screensaver.
It's probably because you did that terrible impersonation of whoever you were trying to do.
Dr. Phil.
Oh, okay.
I think it's good. Let us know in the chat. How was my Dr. Phil?
There we go. Yeah. I thought you were trying to do Bill Clinton. I did not have sexual relations with that. Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
This is a family show, Mike.
It was until a minute ago.
With the 52nd pick, Green Bay Packers selected Brandon Cisse, cornerback, South Carolina. Love this pick. He went 52. I had him 44th. He's very fluid. He's fast. He's instinctual, especially in zone. He's got the length the Packers like in their corners. He's a good tackler. Terrible ball skills. He's not going to intercept many passes. He's got small hands. Just not going to do it. But it's a pure cover corner. I think he's very good. He needs to improve his technique in man. A much better zone corner than man right now. But Green Bay did something pretty cool. They brought in like 3 corners, I think, for top 30 visits that were primarily really good at man, not in zone, which made no sense because Jonathan Gannon ran in his tenure with Arizona. He ran zone 79% of the time. So I was like, what's going on? Are they changing philosophies? Nope, not at all. It was a false flag. He didn't want them to know which corners he was interested in. So Brandon Cisse, I think he's a great fit, and 20 years old. And I sent you a thing. I don't know if you saw. He's a spokesman for Raising Cane's for Canes.
That's awesome. Yes, I did see that.
He's Canes. Yes. So that's my boy.
Raising Cane's is huge out here. Is it big in Texas?
Is it big in Texas? Yes.
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 I don't know.
Very big in Texas. I could
I've
walk.
only been to Texas a couple times in my life,
It's
and it
like
wasn't to go to Raising Cane, so I don't know.
I'm a third of a mile away. I could walk to one.
Have you ever walked there?
No.
Have you ever drove there?
Yes.
Okay.
Cane sauce. I love cane sauce. Okay.
Yes. Yes. And the toast. The toast they have is pretty darn good too.
Yes. Yes.
All right. We're doing free plugs for Raising Canes right now. But we will have a new sponsor, by the way, tomorrow. It'll be interesting. We'll talk about it during the Lights Out Sports podcast. You know you're starting to get popular when people are calling you so that your show can sponsor their product. And we'll talk about that some more tomorrow. Okay. Getting back into this here. So what were you thinking? Here's mine.
Okay.
The Jacksonville Jaguars pick number 56, Nick. I'm going to butcher your name because I've never heard of you before.
Borkircher.
Yeah, sure. That was a reach. I didn't know the guy's name. I know tight end is a need for Jacksonville, but this was ridiculous, Cheese. He had 19 receptions last year, and in his whole career, all right, not just last year or the last 2 years, in his career, he has 417 career yards. He doesn't have a great change of speed. And in fact, he really doesn't have any speed at all. He is a good blocker, Cheese, but that's about it. What in the world were the Jacksonville Jaguars thinking here?
Well, they're stupid.
Okay, well, I'm glad you agree with me.
He was my number 9 tight end because of the blocking. And I think he's, one of the reasons he had 19 catches was they didn't feature him much. They featured the receivers more. Okay. So it was a terrible
hair
pick.
than Mel Kiper.
I thought he was a 4th or 5th round pick. It makes absolutely no sense. And he's a very similar style as Brenton Strange. You already have a tight end just like that, maybe not a limited receiver, okay receiver, nothing great, good blocker, inline tight end. They already have that, Brenton Strange. I went over in my video I released today, a couple hours before we started. I went over what happened with Jacksonville. I absolutely trashed him. I think they have one of the worst drafts I've ever seen. Makes absolutely no sense. Could have had him 2 rounds later. There were at least 5 or 6 tight ends better on the board. Mm-hmm. Just awful.
And that's a shame because Jacksonville was kind of moving up my list as, okay, they're not as bad of a franchise as I thought they were. They got themselves a nice coach now. They did better this last season, and then this draft happened.
Yeah, it's too long to explain right now in this podcast, but I go over it when I go over I just released it. It's my AFC South. After this show, go and check it out. And I talk about all 4 teams. I talk about Jaguars at the end and what exactly they did and their plan and how it's just terrible. The worst. What they did is they mapped the draft. You let the draft come to you in simple terms. You never do that. And he admitted, the GM James Gladstone, that's what they did. It's just awful pick. That would have been mine for sure if you didn't take it, but that's fine. I can talk about somebody else.
So but going back to your podcast a moment, tell me which divisions have you already done so far? I know you've done the AFC North. So what else have you done already, sir?
Both Norths did AFC North, NFC North. I just released the AFC South, and the NFC South is recorded. I'll release that tomorrow, and then I'll probably do the East and then the West.
Okay, sounds great. We'll tune into Football with Cheese and make sure we get all of the information from yourself. But what were they thinking pick of the second round?
There was no pick as bad as Borkircher or even close. I mean, it was just ridiculous. But I picked a team that I think this was a reach, not like a major reach, but also they traded up for him. Is Derek Moore, Edge Michigan, went to Detroit at 44. They moved up from 50 to 44 to get him. He was 73 on my board, 68 on consensus. I get it. He's got a quick first step. He's got length. He had 10 sacks this past year. So he's got production, but he doesn't have a ton of upside. I don't like taking edge rushers in the second round that aren't just elite pass rushers. If your number one trait is like elite speed rusher, designated pass rusher type, then every team in the first round passed on you. That's not good because all the best edge rushers were first round picks. Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, Josh Hines-Allen, Brian Burns. They were all TJ Watt. They were all first round picks. Mm-hmm. If you're going on day 2, you're probably at best a number 3, number 4 type edge rusher because the number 1 and 2 guys go in the first round. So Not only did they take a third round, I thought he was a third round talent. In the second round, they traded up to get him. No, I think he's a good player, but I just think he's more of a number 3 edge, and he's going to be the number 2 in Detroit. Detroit's had a lot of luck with some of the reaches, ahead of consensus. They have had luck more than most teams, but I'm surprised they even traded to get him. I thought he was more of a third rounder.
All right. So we talked about Cassius Howe earlier in this segment with the second round. So where would you, based on what you were just saying about, the ones and the two edge rushers are gone in the first round, where's Cassius Howe fall if you're a Bengals fan listening right now?
Oh, it's one of my favorite picks in the second round. He's that elite edge rusher. He fell because he's not the best run defender and he's got the short arms. There was a reason he fell. What I mean is so Derek Moore, he's not an elite edge rusher. He's a good edge rusher. He's a fine, okay. He's good against the run. He's good edge rusher. Getting 10 sacks means nothing. There are plenty of players that aren't even drafted to get 10 sacks. It's more about pressures. It's more about quick first step, get off. Translate to NFL. Cassius Howe translates to be a very good pass rusher in the NFL based on his talent, on his traits. Derek Moore translates to be solid edge rusher in the NFL.
All right,
that's what I mean by that. So I'm shocked that they even traded up to get him. They need another edge, and there were at least 4 or 5 guys on the board, edge rushers higher, I think, too. So,
okay. Let's go to the third round here, buddy. We're going to do our 3 positive picks, and then we'll do our what were you thinking pick. Then we'll look at a few things here towards the end that'll cover rounds 4 through 7 just as a whole here. So for me, my first one, positive pick, third round, Chris Bell, number 94 to the Dolphins. He's coming off an ACL injury, but I like him a lot. He was releasing some videos and things that kind of caught my attention, and I watched him. So he's a big body receiver with good speed that once he gets rolling, that guy is hard to bring down because he's 6'1", 225. Mm-hmm. He's also in a good spot in Miami because Miami doesn't really have any pressure on them, and he doesn't have that pressure to perform right away. So the Dolphins won't be good, so they can kind of take it slow with him. They don't have to throw him into the fire. They can not rush him, and I think that's a really good spot for him as well.
Yeah, I still thought he'd go higher than this. He's not quick. He's not going to wing quickly. He's never going to be a number 1. He's never going to be a number 1 receiver, but he's a receiver in a running back's body. But you can use him like that. You can put him in the backfield. There's a fly going around. You give him jet sweeps. You give him reverses. You might have to manufacture touches for him, but he is so hard to bring down the open field. He's very good after the catch. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's got some great film. So yeah, I thought that was a really good value.
All right, what's your first positive pick of the third round, sir?
So I'm going wide receiver as well. He's one of my favorite players in the draft. Had him 33 on the board. He went 84th to Tampa Bay. He's Ted Hurst, wide receiver, Georgia State. He's 6'4", 206, 4.42 speed, ton of production in college. He tracks the ball well. He's very good adjusting to it in the air. He was a Senior Bowl standout. Basically, when I look at small school receivers, I want to know if they have a great workout. Are they athletic enough? Check. Did they dominate lower competition? Didn't just play well. Did they dominate? Check. And did they have a good Senior Bowl? Check. You know who checked those boxes too? Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp checked all those boxes too. He was Eastern Washington. So I'm shocked. I thought for sure he'd go like somewhere in the 50s or 60s at worst. And they actually traded down with Green Bay and still got him. He's got to clean up some drops, and he didn't play a lot of press man. Didn't face it because he was so much faster in the corners he was facing. So they had to play like 9-10 yards off. So in the NFL, he'll have to adjust to that. He'll face a lot more press man, but he might take a year or two, but he has a chance to be a special player in the NFL.
All right. I like that. I don't know a lot of those smaller school guys that you do because, I barely have enough time to research the bigger school guys. So that's nice that you bring him up. I like that. Hopefully he'll be good and I'll watch him.
One more thing I've noticed too, that smaller school receivers of all positions, that position translates pretty well in the NFL. We've had a lot of good smaller school receivers become good NFL players.
Interesting. Okay. We'll have to look at that research too. So if you know what translates, what doesn't translate? Am I putting you on the spot here?
Edge rusher, defensive line, typically edge rusher. There's so many edge rushers like, oh, he's a freak athlete. He gets 16, 17 sacks. And gets taken in the 3rd or 4th round. And 3 years later, you never heard of him. Like he's gone. He's out of the league. You've forgot about him. So yeah, defensive line. Offensive line is not as good either, but you really need to play big competition off a defensive line edge rusher, face really good offensive tackles. It just hasn't translated.
Okay. My second positive pick in the third round, Jennings Dunker. First of all, one of the great names ever in football, Jennings Dunker. 96 to, I can't believe I'm saying the Steelers again. To the Steelers.
Ooh.
I hate doing this again. And I'm going to do it one more time before it's all said and done here at the end. Dunker is an offensive lineman from Iowa. Enough said. He's an offensive lineman. He's from Iowa. They just turn out to be machines. But he's 6'5", 319 pounds. I mean, geez, that's the size of a compact car, for God's sake. He is huge. He'll probably move from tackle to guard, I assume, but he can be kind of a swing tackle if he needs to in spurts. Plus, he has a red mullet and the power of the ginger, for God's sake. I mean, I know you mentioned this in the breakdown that you did.
Yes. We'll talk about that tomorrow night.
Okay, fantastic. So I won't ask you too much about him then. What do you think about him going from tackle to guard possibly?
No, I meant with Mr. First Down. He's got the ginger, but no.
Okay.
No, I think he's a little stiff. I don't think he moves great. I think he in the hips, so the speed rushers are in counter moves he'll struggle with. Very productive tackle in college, but I think he could be a really good guard. I think you can play him maybe right away at left guard. Pittsburgh lost Sayamolo, I think to the Cardinals, so they could use a left guard. I'm shocked that he fell. I thought he'd go late second round, fell the late third round. Especially Iowa guy, and he had a good Senior Bowl. I'm shocked. Maybe there's something. You always, when someone falls a whole round, there may be something on the medical, some single red flag that you don't hear about it. But I love that pick for Pittsburgh. Absolutely.
All right. So tell us your second round positive pick. Or excuse me, your second positive pick in the third round. There we go.
Dominique Orange, defensive tackle, Iowa State, or Big Citrus. Big Citrus. He's not going to give you much pass rush. I think that's one of the reasons he fell. The other reason is, I guess there were some plays he took off on tape, and sometimes he just didn't make an impact. But when he tries, when he does, he is a tenacious run fender. He'll eat up blocks. He just blows plays up. But I just think he fell because limited pass rush and take some plays off. But a lot of nose tackles do. But he's got the size you want for today's NFL: 6'2", 322. I don't want a 6'7", 6'6" defensive tackle. I don't want a 340, 345. I want 6'2", 322. And he's just very good at stopping the run. Doesn't have an all-around great game, but he's so good at that. So you can put him there at nose tackle and run situations, and you can't really run at him.
Okay. I just realized, Cheese, I can't believe you didn't point this out to me, especially when I shot you over the notes that I did. I messed this up. Instead of doing 3 positives and 1 negative, I did 2 positives and 2 negatives. So,
okay. I was surprised that you did positive with this guy. I was like, that looked like a reach to me, even though I was higher than most people.
So okay. I'm reading a little bit ahead, like, okay, I'm preparing myself for what's coming up next. And then I'm looking at, did I mess this up? Did I flip-flop the 2 things? No, I just completely screwed this up. So
that's okay. Let's talk about him because he's an interesting pick. Let's talk about Sam.
Okay, so then the pick that we're talking about here is Sam Roush, number 69 to the Chicago Bears. Let me tell you what I wrote, and then we'll talk about him here. So he's essentially a third tight end with the Bears because they already have Loveland and Kmet, right? That's how you say it, Kmet? Yep. So he is a blocking tight end, is what you'd think, right? But no, he's not, Cheese, because he has short arms. So how does he fit into this package? Now, if you look at the tape,
he's a really good run blocker. I know he's got short arms, but he is a really good blocker.
So how does that work? We've talked almost this entire show about short arm people can't block, and so how does he block with short arms? How does that happen?
No, I mean short arm guys can block. You just prefer length. It could limit his ceiling as a blocker in the NFL, but he's a tenacious blocker. He will get after it. He will level people. He's really big. He's like 6'7", 267.
Yeah, I think I have his exact numbers down here somewhere.
But he's kind of a mess as a receiver. I know he's productive. Because of his athleticism, he took advantage of small competition, but he's got to improve route running. He's got to improve in zone. I guess he had good numbers, but he's kind of a work in progress as a receiver. And he went 69th overall. I had him 81. I was pretty aggressive on him. Most people didn't have him in the top 100.
Yeah, I mean, he did lead the ACC last year with the most receiving yards, but I mean, come on, guys, it's the ACC.
Down year for them.
Yeah, very down year for them.
Stanford was really bad.
Yeah, we'll actually talk about that a little more tomorrow when we do our college football things here. I've got like 9 different topics, and I'm gonna have to whittle it down to 3 or 4 for tomorrow, and then we'll continue them the next week. But correct me if I'm wrong here, Cheese. Chicago needed defensive line help, and I'm not sure why they picked a third tight end here instead of doing that. And then 3 of the next 13 picks were defensive tackles that they could have drafted. So not only do I not like the pick, but I don't think he fills a need for them. And there were other people that were still in the draft who could have filled a need for them.
A lot of teams are running more 12 personnel. Rams ran 13 personnel, so 2 or 3 tight ends on the field. So maybe they're going to do more of that. They're going to copy the Rams. It's possible. And maybe Kmet, I don't know if his contract, if he's a free agent end of the year or something. I don't know.
2 more years.
2 more years. So, yeah, I get it. If he's the best player on the board, fine. But tight ends got way overdrafted. So many teams wanted backup tight ends. It was a deep tight end class, a lot of backups, but a lot of them got way overdrafted. So, you know what they could have done? Like Dylan Thieneman made sense, right? At 25.
Yes, absolutely.
They had 2 second-round picks. They could have packaged one of those, maybe a third round, and moved up and gotten Caden McDonald.
Yeah, that would make sense.
That's what they should have done.
All right. So even though I messed it up, I know you did not because, you don't do things like that, sir. What was your third positive pick in the 3rd round?
Trey Zune, offensive lineman, went to the Raiders at 91. I had him at 72, and I said in my offensive ranking videos, I should have put him at 62. The more I watch him, the more I like him. He was a guy that some people, he was like 180, 170 on consensus. And I'm like, why? Do you not watch him at Texas A&M? And I kept hearing, well, he's not a great athlete, right? Then he has this amazing workout. He's like in the 96th percentile athlete.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
He played tackle at A&M. He's one of the best pass blockers in the country. Short arms, probably moves inside. Raiders list him as a guard, but he's athletic. I think center could be his best position. He could maybe play all 5 positions for you. I still don't understand how he fell to 91. And the rumor was Green Bay was trying to move back in the 3rd round for someone. I think it was for Zune. Once they denied Dennis Sutton, edge rusher, Penn State, the GM of the Packers said, oh, it was for him. No, it wasn't, because then you would have moved up. You stayed there at the 4th round. I think they were trying to go get Trey Zune. I think he's going to be a starter for the Raiders. I think he's an absolute steal at pick 91.
All right, so here on the Lights Out Sports Podcast, we have done a lot with the draft this year, mainly because, this is technically the first year that we've had Cheese with us full time. The last year about this time, he was kind of off again, on again, and we were doing different hosts, and we were trying to figure out exactly what we wanted to do. But, of course, Cheese broke through, and he is the new permanent co-host of this show. We love him. Thank you very much for being with us every single Tuesday night, Cheese. But I also want to say this. We did the draft special before this. If you want to watch and see how we did, you can do that. Cheese, Wayne, Med, Clint, and myself hosting. We all did that. We talked about the top 30 visits. We talked about with Dan, who come on from Bunch of Nuts podcast, and we did a bunch of Ohio State stuff. And we're going to have Mr. First Down on tomorrow. And I'm pretty sure that we got a couple other football guests lined up for the weeks to come. So stick with us. We're really going to go through a lot of football stuff here, just like Cheese does on his channel, focusing a lot on the draft. All right, so 3rd round, who was my what were you thinking pick? And it has to be the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings have not had a good, reliable safety since Harrison Smith. With that being said, and because Jacoby Thomas was the Fiesta Bowl MVP, he will be expected to be a force in Minnesota. And in reality, I think that pick was a reach as it was. He is good in the box, and he times his blitzes up really well. One of the reasons why he was the MVP of the Fiesta Bowl, but there's not a whole lot more else to like about him. Most people didn't have him in their top 100 or even in their top 150, Yet the Vikings, because of a need that they have, which they should have addressed earlier in the draft, now there's undue pressure on him, and I'm afraid that he's just going to fail. So, Cheese, what do you think about Thomas as a whole? And do you think now that because of this pressure, the possibility of him failing in the NFL is higher?
Yeah, I would have taken Dylan Thieneman if I were them in the first round. He went to the Bears. They need a deep safety. That's what Harrison Smith was. Jacoby Thomas, he's got really good ball skills. Okay. He was a playmaker at Miami, no doubt about it, but he's missed a lot, high missed tackle rate. So that's not good for in-box safety. And he doesn't really find the ball well. He doesn't track it well as a safety. So he can't really play deep safety. I don't know what to do with him. I saw him as kind of a backup special teamer, maybe come in on third down and 3 safety looks. So you can play him close to the line of scrimmage, fine, but he just missed way too many tackles to me. So yeah, this was a major reach.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the Cincinnati Bengals last year missing a ton of tackles, and what happened to them in the season. That's probably not something you want your safety to be really good at, is missing tackles.
No, definitely not. And it's just I don't know where you're gonna play him. You can't play him as your free safety, your deep safety, because he doesn't track the ball. So I don't know.
Well, but that's what I mean. I think Minnesota is. I think they're desperate, and they're going to plug him in there, and then he's going to fail, and then they're going to be like, oh, he's a bust. Well, maybe, but it's probably because of where you picked him at and where you're picking to play him at.
Look at you be negative like me, like finding all the wrong things,
bad
things about these prospects. Mr. First Down has accused me for hating every single prospect.
He has.
I found one or two things about Caleb Downs that aren't like spectacular.
Yes, but this was the spot of the show where we said we were going to be negative. This is the what were you thinking pick. So
it's fun. I like this. I like the grumpiness aspect.
All right, you like the grumpy Gus got. Okay, well, so now I'll allow you to be the grump in the third round. Tell me what were they thinking pick is in that third round.
So I have to talk a little about the Jaguars, but I got 2 real quick here.
Okay.
Gotta talk about the Bears. I have another Bears pick, but the Jaguars, Richer, it was terrible. But Albert Regis, defensive tackle, Texas A&M, went 81st overall. Jaguars, I thought he was a 6th or 7th rounder, designated pass rusher, interior only, like 4th or 5th defensive tackle on your team. He's got a quick first step, but 196 on consensus. I'm shocked that they. Once again, the Jaguars, you can watch my video and find out what exactly they did. I talk about 5
minutes. I can't wait to watch this here in a few minutes. That'll be the first thing I do when we're done here.
It's a disastrous draft. But the Bears took Xavier Thomas, wide receiver, LSU. He had 488 yards past year. He had speed. He has 4.3 speed. He was 232 on consensus. A couple guys didn't even have him in the top 300. They took him 89th overall. He's not a good route runner. He's terrible at contested catches. If anyone is near him, he's not going to catch it. Like bumps him anywhere. He's horrible contested catches. So you can't play him in the slot. He's probably at your deep threat and maybe your return man only. And you took him 89th overall. He wasn't even the best LSU receiver in this draft. And the one that was 6th round pick of the Saints. I was shocked. The Bears, they made some really good picks, but some really questionable ones. This one was, like I said, 89, 232 on consensus. Terrible pick.
Yeah, that's a big difference there. But I mean, even as a return man, if you're saying he can't do the contested catches because I guess he doesn't like people close to him. I mean, he's going to have people close to him every time he tries to return the ball, right? So how can you say he's going to be a good return man?
Not kick return. I'm not saying he just like, oh, someone's coming, he drops it. But if there's anyone near him, he's not going to catch the ball. He's just not. He has to be wide open. And you can't play a guy like that. If you think Julian Edelman would have made it in the NFL if he couldn't catch all those tight ones over the middle? No. Like you have
Julian Edelman didn't have the skill set of some of the other receivers in the NFL either.
No,
he made his
but he came down with all of those.
Mm-hmm.
He came down with those. You can't. You have to be able to catch the ball, and he's fine if he's open and he's got speed. I think the Bears we need a deep threat.
Right. That was the other question I was going to ask. He's just the take the top off the defense kind of guy, and they just look at him and go, run.
But if the defender's there, he's not going to come up with it. I just think Ryan Poles overthought this. I think he felt like he's a sleeper, and he's probably going 6th or 7th round, but we can get him in the 4th or 5th round, and just thought, wait, what is someone else? I think he just overthought it and like, okay, we have to get this guy. It's a terrible way to draft. You have to let the board stick to your board, let the draft come to you, and take the best player. It was a terrible pick.
I'm sorry for blinding everybody, by the way. I leaned down there too much and showed everybody that bald head of mine. I'm sorry. I'm sure it reflected a bunch of light and probably
just lost half our audience immediately.
Probably did.
Yes.
Probably did. All right, buddy. So we got 3 questions to kind of wrap all of this up here. Thank you guys very much for being with us. For those of you who are tuning in on whatever platform you've got, you can find us on Facebook. It's my personal Facebook. You can look it up by the name. It's right there on the screen. We are on the YouTube channel for All Gloves Off Sports Media. That's the YouTube spot. We're on Cheese's YouTube channel. Cheese, what's that?
Football with Cheese. Cheese spelled Cheez. And I did. Make sure you check out my reaction to every pick in round 1, winners and losers. And right now I'm doing all week recapping division by division. So it'll be 8 videos in total. All
right. So both YouTubes are out there. We're on Twitch now. We've got them on X, both mine and Cheese's X, at All Gloves Off SM, because you got to shorten it a little bit. Cheese has to shorten his too, at Football Cheese.
At Football
no Cheese. With on the X, right?
Correct.
And then we'll be available tomorrow on Spotify, Apple Music, and iHeartRadio. So we're everywhere, guys. Anywhere you want to get us, or when you tell your friends about us, we will be there. All right, Cheese. So of rounds 4 through 7, give us a couple of value picks. In other words, players that you had graded higher than rounds 4 through 7. They fell, and then one of these teams swooped them up.
Yeah, I just listed a 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th rounder. I got one for each. Bryce Lance, wide receiver, North Dakota State. He is Trey Lance's brother, the former 3rd overall quarterback of the Niners. He went 4th round, 136. I had him 55 on the board. His relative athletic score was 9.98, which is he's in the 99.8th percentile athlete.
Thank you, William.
Yeah, appreciate it. He's 6, and I can't do a Mel Kiper, William. I can do voices, but not Mel Kiper. He's 6'3", 204, 4'3", 440. He was really productive this year. I get it, level of competition, and he finally broke out this year. He wasn't like great before. He's improved route running, but he can be a deep threat at worst right now. I just don't know with his traits how he fell the 4th round. Good pick, Saints. 5th round, Sam Hecht, center from Kansas State, went to Carolina. I had him as the best pure center in this class. He's a good pass blocker, good run blocker. Doesn't have like a high ceiling, but I think he's the most NFL ready center in the draft. I thought he'd go in the 3rd round. 6th round, Brian Parker, offensive lineman, went to Cincinnati, played left tackle Duke, really short arms. But but he's really good athlete. I think he can, at worst, back up at all 3 interior positions. And some people think his best position will be center. He could be a starting center in the league. With his athleticism, there's no way he should have fallen to 189. Like 149 would have been a steal. Love that pick. And then in round 7, Andre Fuller, cornerback, Toledo. I didn't really know much about him until I watched Emmanuel Warren. And then this dude stood out. He is a great man cover corner, 6'1", 200 pounds. Doesn't have a lot of speed. So you don't want him covering like Jamar Chase, but maybe he can develop into a man cover corner, maybe even move to safety. I could see them doing that because of his size. But so those are my favorite picks of the round of each round.
Okay. I'm looking it up here. So I said earlier, and I teased it a little bit, I've got to say the Pittsburgh Steelers one more time. The second best moment, in my opinion, in the draft. I did not watch this one live, but I did see it later on when they selected the Navy running back / receiver Eli Heidenreich. I've watched him play before. I was hoping somebody was going to pick him up. To be honest, I was hoping it wasn't going to be Pittsburgh again. I can't believe I'm praising Pittsburgh so much.
They had a really good draft. Yeah,
they did have a really good draft, but I've seen a lot of people trash their draft too. But I think they had a really good draft. I don't like it because I'm a Bengals guy, but I love Eli. I love that moment that he had when he came out in his dress blues and all of that in front of the huge crowd in Pittsburgh. Great moment for him. It's neck and neck with Caden's moment where he came out there in the second round as well. But that's kind of my one thing that I wanted to talk about in rounds 4 through 7. I loved that moment. And these are guys, Caden, Eli. These are guys that I'm going to even Concepcion, guys that I have liked through this draft process. Guys that I would say that I could relate to and relate with through this draft process. And no matter what team picks them, even if it is the crappy Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm still going to follow their career, and I'm still really anxious to see what they do with their NFL career.
He had one of the best three cones like ever. Like he's so agile. That three cone just made me think he should be a slot receiver. Like I wouldn't even put him at running back. I would try to make a Julian Edelman type because of that. I mean, he is. Yeah,
that's interesting.
Very, very good change of direction agility. His agility drills were amazing.
You talk more about him in your video as well. What video did you? I know that was another video you put out. Which one was that one?
Oh, that was just the AFC North recap. Recap.
Just the AFC North recap. Come on now, give yourself some credit.
They all
you do fantastic with these videos.
There are two divisions where maybe three actually. There are three divisions where I think everyone did good, and I like those videos. Very positive, and that's the AFC North, the NFC South, which will come out tomorrow, and then the NFC East. All four of those teams had, I think, good drafts to good to great drafts. So it's positive. I like that. I'm less grumpy. In the AFC South, AFC South, get a little grumpy. That's definitely my grumpiest so far.
That's okay. Sometimes you got to get a little grumpy, but our good buddy Cowboy Reggie will probably be happy with what you're going to say about the Cowboys. I mean, I praised them earlier. You're going to praise them in the video that's going to come out tomorrow. And of these rounds 4 through 7 again, Cheese, give us a couple of picks that confused you. And what I mean confusing, either by the pick of the player, the need of the team, or the player just not fitting the scheme of a team.
Well, I had pulled up here. Just the whole Jaguars draft. Wesley Williams in the 4th round. He blocked some kicks in college, but as an edge rusher, he should have been like a late round flyer. I took a receiving tight end, Tanner Kozoil in the 5th round. I thought he was late rounder. CJ Williams, wide receiver, Stanford in the 6th round. I never even looked at him. I don't think he was in some top 500 lists. They took 2 linebackers in the 7th round that I didn't think would be drafted. Just their whole draft. They had 2 picks that were good. And that's Emmanuel Pregnon in the 3rd round, Josh Cameron, wide receiver, Baylor in the 6th round. Emmanuel Pregnon's a guard from Oregon who fell because of his age, probably. So I'll say the Jaguars' just total draft was a disaster. The Bengals took Colby Young, wide receiver, Georgia, 4th round, 140th pick. Got size, got talent. He was charged. It was dropped with, I guess he put his hands on his pregnant girlfriend at the time. So he was charged with like assault with an unborn child. I don't know what he did. I don't know if he punched him in the stomach. Who knows? I don't know what exactly happened, but charges were dropped. Who knows if some Georgia
still a red flag though.
Who knows if some Georgia booster paid her off? I don't know. Just speculating. And this is where he'd go if he didn't have the character insurance to me, mid-round pick. So I was just surprised. Might have been able to get him later.
Now let's talk about the Bengals and receivers. They did this last year, right? They got the one guy who they eventually released
2 years ago, Jermaine Burton.
Jermaine Burton. Thank you for the name. Yeah,
he's a total psychopath. Mm-hmm.
Yes, they've done this before, so they've taken the chance. And why are the Bengals taking a chance on receiver? Do they look at it as we've got 2 of the best in the business, and we can take a chance on another one? Is that what they're doing?
Talent. Jermaine Burton looked amazing at times at Alabama. He looked like a 1st-round pick at times. Colby Young is like 6'4", 219 with skills. He's not just like a tall guy. He's got skills. Like he's similar, maybe not a Denzel Boston level, but not far down. He's got talent. I think they just think, let's take a shot. There were some people had Jermaine Burton as like the 4th best receiver in that draft. I didn't have him that high, but I don't know. You have to ask Duke Tobin. Cyrus Allen, different type of receivers, but Cyrus Allen, Cincinnati was on the board. Josh Cameron, I just mentioned, went to Jacksonville from Baylor, also on the board. To me, they were much better prospects than Colby Young, even as a receiver, let alone the off the field stuff. So that surprised me. And I just have one more. I'm not sure which team it was. Maybe we can just forget the team, but someone traded up for a kicker. I don't know who it was. So we'll just forget the team.
I don't know.
Because kickers aren't football players.
Maybe part of their colors matches the shirt. I don't know. Anyway, maybe it matches the mug there. I don't know. Possibly. We'll see. So I'm going to wrap this up this way, Chiefs, because I think we need to talk about this. Ladies and gentlemen, we had to do this show. Well, we didn't have to, but we wanted to, because there was no way we could do all of this that we're talking about tonight on tomorrow night's show and then keep it within 6 hours or something. So
we've already been, it's almost an hour and a half. So
yeah. So we wanted to do a separate show. And here's the last question of this separate show. This will probably take a few minutes, but I think people need to know this. And here's the question, Cheese. How has the new special teams rules affected the later stages of the draft? And if you could, please, give us a couple of examples.
Yes, it's changed it dramatically. You can punt away from a really good punt return, right? So it's about the return game. The NFL wanted to bring back the kick return. It was dead. Everyone's just got these kickers and kick it 70 yards. They're kicking out of the back of the end zone. So we need to bring back the kick return. Like I said, you can punt away from a guy. So now you have to do it in the landing zone. If you kick it out of the end zone, you're going to give the team good field position. So it's led to more returns. So we have more returns. So now your kick now your kick return is a weapon. The Pittsburgh Steelers, to me, took a guy that probably would not be drafted without the rule change. And that is Ketchin Weegan from Iowa. Didn't test all that great. Probably not going to stay at receiver. He's only going to be their kick and punt return. That's it. But he was like the best kick and punt return in the country for the last couple of years. So they, in the 4th round, not even 6 or 7, they took him in the 4th round. But day one, he might be one of the best return men in the game. The Saints took 2. Let me pull up the Saints. 2 guys that I think 2 of the best return men in the draft on day 3. They took Lorenzo Styles Jr. from Ohio State, listed as a safety. I think he should go back to wide receiver. When he was at Notre Dame, that's what he played before he transferred to Ohio State. Sonny Styles' brother. He's going to be the return man. He's a 4.28 guy. That's what he's going to be. But 5th round, he would not go drafted. I don't think. He's not a very good defensive back. He would not go drafted if they didn't change. And then they took Berrien Brown, LSU, in the 6th round. Same thing. He's got some upside as maybe a decent receiver, but I think he's got like 6 punt returns in his career at LSU. So they took in the 5th and 6th round 2 guys. They were 2 of the best 5 return men in this draft. So it has changed. People, they're actually drafting guys just to be return men. Both those guys and Weegan, they are not going to probably play receiver. They're going to just be return men. So it's changed everything. And one more thing I just got to mention is, I guess you trade up for a kicker if you can kick it 60 yards consistently. You can get 65 in practice. I guess it's more valuable now. If all you have to do is get to the 45-yard line, you can kick a field goal. So maybe that's changed things too.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so let's talk about this for a second. This special team stuff, right? I want to take a few moments and do this. It's when you start off your plate going down the field and your returner gets you 25 yards, that's huge, right?
If it's from the goal line, yeah, I mean, you typically want to get past the 30. That's what I always say. You want to get to at least the 30-yard line, and then it's a good return. So yeah, if he gets the ball in like the 10, yeah, that's good.
Right. So these guys can really make a difference in a game. Maybe not every play, or maybe not even every possession, but I mean, if you can get, if you're down 4 and you need the touchdown, right, and you get your kick return guy out there and he gives you an extra, even if he gives you an extra 10 or 12 yards, even if you're down by 3 and you want to tie it, that can make a huge difference on the field goal too. Those extra 10 or 12 yards that you get from the punt return, right, or the kick return.
Yeah, and you're going to have a chance to return because they want time to go off the clock. They're not kicking the touchback. They're kicking to you in the landing zone because they want time to come off. So yeah, if you have a great returnman that can do it, and if they return it for a touchdown, it's a free touchdown. You didn't have to do anything.
Yeah,
your offense stays on the bench. Boom, touchdown.
Yeah, and, you don't have to worry about injuries or anything like that. You just woohoo.
I mean, Desmond Howard in the 1996 Super Bowl for the Green Bay Packers had a kick return touchdown. He also had another kick return that was almost a touchdown. So and they won the game by 14 points. I mean, he was the MVP. He impacted that game. It would have been a close game without him. It was 35-21, I believe. So two scored. It was probably not as close as that, but his difference in special teams was the reason the game was pretty comfortable. Or I wasn't freaking out as a little kid. Well, I was just, pretty much the whole time. I think New England cut it to 6 points, and then he had this 99-yard kick return. Changed the whole game, like late 3rd quarter.
All right, so I want to make a baseball reference here. So are these special teams guys becoming like left-handed relievers in baseball? They're specialists, but they can really make a difference in the game.
Yes. Yes. And like you said, it's not just like getting a touchdown. It's you have a 60-yard return, you're already in field goal range.
Mm-hmm.
Like it changes the game. It changed field position, flip the field. And I think a lot of these teams are going to do is put two guys back there. I think that's what the Saints are going to do based on what they drafted. And we'll dare you who you're going to kick to.
Yeah, you got to kick it to somebody, right?
Kick it to one of us. Yep.
All right. Hey, that's a great way to end everything. We wanted to point that out to you guys, especially when we were looking at the draft, because we saw a few teams do it. Cheese pointed out on one of his videos. I saw it, and I wouldn't have seen it had I not been watching his stuff. So that's what you need to do, too. Go over to @FootballWithCheese on YouTube and watch all the videos that he has going on. Stick with us here on YouTube as well at All Gloves Off Sports Media. We got some more things coming. I'll have the Sports Pulpit. Yeah, I had trouble with that one. I didn't have it written in front of me anywhere, and I was like, crap, what was it? Oh, man. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you guys can do. We're trying to provide you with the best viewing possible. We are getting ready to add Mr. First Down to our lineup, and we are also getting ready to add the Cheap Pop Society podcast. Mr. First Down, a Titans guy who will do a lot on TikTok for us. We're really going to start going on TikTok as well. And then we're going to add the Cheap Pop Society, a wrestling podcast. So we're really starting to branch out there and get a bunch of stuff for you guys. So anything you want to add to the end of the show, Cheese?
Yeah, just one quick thing about a prospect that we talked about. Did you know that Keldrick Falk is a really good run defender?
No, I didn't.
He can defend the run. He should have gone first overall. He should have been taken ahead of Mendoza because of his run defense.
That's very true. Very true.
Okay.
Oh, boy. Mr. First Down and you are going to have an argument tomorrow. I can see it coming, but I can't wait to be here for it. All right, guys. Thank you all very much for tuning in to us. We certainly appreciate it. And again, even though it's a football broadcast, we say the same thing at the end of every broadcast. The only thing that's fair in life is a baseball hit between the third and first base lines. Good evening, everyone.